Rapid questions for Kaleb.
Are you excited to get back home and finally get to play a game in Bobby Dodd this year?
Oh yes, with the new culture and everything, I feel like the fans have bought in, especially with how we move on social media and everything. So I feel like Bobby Dodd will be packed out this weekend.
What do you think about the white helmets and stuff you guys have been wearing in practice?
They're an adjustment. I'm a fan of the gold helmet, but the white helmet is a nice look.
In terms of your game, you played pretty well against Clemson. Do you feel really comfortable now with what they're asking you to do in that nickel position?
The nickel position comes naturally, so I would say yes. Clemson was a great team. They had great athletes, so I just tried to do my job inside the scheme, and then plays just happened.
It seemed like you guys did a really nice job with tackling and rallying the ball. What kind of things did you do in the preseason, the spring, you think that led to that?
It's just how we practice. As I said, we're an effort-based defense. We emphasize tackling, leverage, all that every day of practice. So even in the walkthroughs, we got to have right leverage and low body position and all that. So yeah.
What do you remember from South Florida from last year?
The tempo, honestly, tempo.
Going against, I'm sure, the #1 draft pick next year, Lawrence. Was that like an offense that you want to go against, like right off the bat, with Collins, starting Collins versus down the season?
I feel like it was a great test for us for the first game. So to be the best, you have to beat the best, and Clemson's obviously the defending national champions. Excuse me. So going against them first was a good test for our program and just to see where we're at.
With USF, a lot of guys have said that out of all the games last year, that was kind of one of the ones that they really wanted back because it wasn't necessarily the cleanliness of a game that they wanted to play. I guess with that in mind, have you kind of seen guys have a little more focus, a little more attention to detail in order to kind of come out on Saturday and be like, you know what, that wasn't what we know how to do?
Well, USF, they're a great program. They have great athletes. So we just focus on ourselves a lot. We focus on perfecting our craft. So we know us, and then we know them, and then we have no fear. So after we're good on knowing us and perfecting our craft, then we worry about the next team.
Do you feel like you have a little bit of a score to settle? You're a competitive guy, and you got thrown into the fire in that game. Tariq gets the boot early after a really nice play, and then you kind of had to go that whole game against that tempo and that heat. I feel like maybe some of you guys in the secondary and stuff, they feel like there's some revenge to be had.
I wouldn't say revenge. I would say we plan to come out and compete as we do each and every day at practice, and as we plan to do each and every game. So I would just leave it at that.
Going back to the game last year, special teams played a big role in the loss. I imagine you guys are really fired up to maybe make a statement there with your special teams this Saturday.
Of course, with Coach Collins, he puts a grand emphasis on special teams. Special teams is the #1 priority with this new program, and I can tell already from the first game that it's just, you can tell we put emphasis on it, and you can tell that it's something we honestly care about as a program.
Do you feel like the defense is better? Like I know you played a tough team out of the gate, but it seemed like you guys played pretty well despite like the yardage and the score. It seemed like there were signs of like improvement in a lot of areas.
Oh yeah, over the offseason we have improved tremendously. Up front, it's linebackers all the way back to the secondary. I feel like we have came a long way since last year, and I feel like each day we're stacking and getting better and getting better and getting better, and that's what our coaches plan on. They said it's a process, so we just sticking to it and believing in it.
Do you like the roll-in with you and Ajani, like that you don't have to play 100 snaps or 80 snaps or whatever, that they can kind of balance you guys out a little bit more?
Oh yeah, having Ajani with me, it's honestly like a breath of fresh air. So I know I can go in and give my all, and then when I'm tapped out, he'll come in and give his all, and we can just bounce in and out the whole game. And with him and his skill, I mean, it's just no real fall off at that nickel position.
I guess in that, when you're kind of on the sidelines, and this might seem like a silly question, but as far as communication goes, I know Coach Thacker said he plays 28 guys are getting significant snaps and reps. So in that, what does that communication look like? Is it really one of those situations where it's like y'all are all kind of staying there in a group? It's like, okay, who's going in, you go in, you go in. Is it kind of like that?
It's different for different positions, I would say. But as we gather together on the sideline as a defense, we all pay attention and we all listening to Coach Dak as we make adjustments because we honestly don't know who might be going out the next series.
Curious, Lawrence probably ran a little more maybe you were expecting. He had a couple, lanes to run through. And I'm curious, and I know Barnett last year hurt you guys with the run. How do you guys get better at that, particularly with someone who's probably looking at that and saying like, okay, that's something maybe we can do?
As I said, just knowing our jobs and doing them, I feel like we'll be able to handle anything.